I never saw Justice League The New Frontier. Not because it didn't look interesting, but because I didn't know it existed. According to the Wikipedia article on the movie, it's based on a limited comic series of the same name, released about 4 years prior. Is it a worthy follow-up to Superman Doomsday? Let's find out. After watching this movie, I can safely say that it's just alright. I definitely didn't enjoy it anywhere near as much as I did Superman Doomsday. This comes down to a variety of reasons, all of which I'll cover coming up. But first, let's go over the plot. Beware, there are spoilers ahead, so if you still want to see the movie, skip to the timecode on your screen. For such a short movie, there is quite a bit to get through. We have a few people focused on throughout various points in the movie, such as Martian Manhunter, The Flash, Superman, and Batman. The length of the movie, in conjunction with the amount of plot about each character they're trying to give us, is the biggest reason why I feel this movie falls short. Either way, let's start at the beginning. So the opening scene is a monologue by our main villain, a being only known as the Center. The movie details his origin via an author writing a children's book. Center came from the primordial soup at the beginning of the Earth, but soon overtook the other beings in complexity. Then the meteor that killed the dinosaurs hits Earth, wiping out all life except for the Center, leading the way for the humans to take over and rise to power. The next scene we find ourselves with Hal Jordan and his friend Ace during the Korean War. They hear about a ceasefire being signed, but are soon attacked by enemy fighters who either don't hear about the ceasefire or didn't care. Hal is shot down but lands into a trench where he's forced to kill a Korean soldier. This scene is especially poignant as we go throughout the film, as it is the only time Hal fired his gun during the war.
It's over. War over.
Around the same time in Gotham City, we find Martian Manhunter cradling a scientist who seems to have accidentally teleported him to Earth. The scientist dies of fright due to his sudden appearance, and Manhunter temporarily takes on the form of the scientist and flees the scene. The movie continues with Superman flying around Indochina. He confronts Wonder Woman, who helps some native women kill their captors. He mentions that this is the reason that people were afraid of them, why Batman is a fugitive, and why they had to sign loyalty agreements with the government. This theme of prejudice is very prevalent throughout the movie and is used to highlight the racial troubles that were going on in that time period. While I feel like the message is beat on a little too much, at least as far as this movie goes, I do appreciate that the goings-on were not toned down, but given a voice, even if it's through the lens of a superhero movie. Sometime after the war, we find ourselves in Las Vegas. Iris West, Barry Allen's fiancée, is interviewing celebrities there when the casino she's in is attacked by Captain Cold. Barry, who was on the phone with Iris, races over to save her and stop Cold. Cold, however, had planned for this and placed bombs all around the city set to explode within 90 seconds. Flash finds the bombs and captures Cold, but Cold is possessed by the Center, who says that he is, quote, faster than all of the lesser beings. Hal and Ace, who are also in Vegas, take a trip to Ferris, a flight testing facility. While they are traveling, Hal laments his not being able to find a job testing planes like his father after his stay in the psych ward after the war. The psych ward visit was apparently due to a scuffle with the Korean soldier in the trenches that we see earlier. Hal is surprised when he actually gets a job with Ferris and soon begins training with him. Colonel Flagg, his trainer, isn't fond of his attitude, but Miss Ferris, the owner of the company, says he just needs to see the bigger picture. They take him to their secret lab where they tell him about Manhunter and how they haven't been able to find him after that night. They then tell him of their plans to go to Mars so they can find out what the Martians want with Earth. Meanwhile, Manhunter, who has taken the name John Jones as well as a job as a detective, and his partner pull up to a church that has some connection with the case they are currently working. They bust in on Batman beating up some cultists who are trying to sacrifice a child. John tries to help but knocks over a candle into a nearby curtain, which freezes him with fear. John's partner douses the flame, and John unties the boy the cultists wanted to sacrifice. The Center then possesses one of the cultists, who seem to have been worshippers of the Center, and says that the people of Earth, quote, will be judged.
You will be judged too. You will all be judged. Without the Center, there is no holding.
A little later on, Batman confronts John, saying he wants to share information about the Center. He also mentions that he trusts John, but should he ever break that trust, he'll use his fear of fire against him.
Make no mistake, though. I have a $70,000 sliver of radioactive meteor to stop the one from Metropolis. With you, All I need is a penny for a book of matches.
Back in Central City, the Flash fights what seems to be Gorilla Grodd. In reality, this Grodd is a robot that the government is using as a trap so they can capture him. Flash narrowly escapes his would-be captors and publicly announces that he is no longer going to be a superhero because he wants to protect the people he loves. Soon after, John interrogates a Ferris scientist we see earlier in the film. He rambles about the center and how it's going to destroy everything. He also mentions Ferris's mission to Mars. John tries to get more information about the mission, but Ferris's government liaison, Faraday, comes to take him away. John reads Faraday's mind, confirming what the scientist said about the mission. He drops off what he has about the center to Batman, and goes to the Ferris testing facility to hitch a ride on a Mars rocket. Faraday, however, spots him and attempts to shoot him. They fight, but it's too late for John to get onto the rocket. He is captured by soldiers and held prisoner in the Ferris facility. Hal and Colonel Flagg get the rocket into the atmosphere, but it malfunctions. Hal tries to fly the rocket back down to Earth, but Flagg doesn't let him because there are weapons on the rocket, just in case the Martians turn out to be hostile. Flagg ejects Hal from the rocket and blows it up. Superman saves Hal and gets him safely back down to Earth. Superman then confronts Faraday about the weapons and John, noting that if John wanted to leave the cell, he easily could have. On Paradise Island, Wonder Woman is sparring with a friend when a looming shadow takes over the island. We later find out this is the center, and it's on its way to America. Back at Ferris, Hal is moping around when he suddenly gets whisked away in a flash of green light. He's brought to Abin Sur, the previous Green Lantern, who explains that Hal is the next Green Lantern. Sur was coming to Earth to help with the oncoming battle with the Center, but got hurt by the explosion Hal's rocket made. Sur also finally gives up the Center's motive, the complete and utter destruction of all humanity, who it sees as being too powerful for their own good. The Center reaches Cape Canaveral and takes out Superman, which incites the other heroes and the government to cooperate to destroy it. In the ensuing battle, Hal discovers the true power of the ring, and after Flash uses a shrink ray to shrink the Center, contains it and throws it into space where it explodes. After the victory, Aquaman arrives with a battered Superman in tow, alive but a little bruised. And that's it. That's the end of the movie. As I said before, the movie has a ton of plot for such a short running time. There's not very much attention given to any of the characters featured, nor to the building of the Justice League. Everything happens independently of everything else and then is loosely connected afterwards. It's by no means a terrible movie, but it's not a great one either. Visually, this movie isn't all that outstanding, especially when compared to Superman Doomsday. The animation isn't nearly as detailed nor as polished. Even during the final battle, none of the shots stood out to me nearly as much as some of the ones in my previous review. The character designs are passable, but they are technically supposed to be based off the hero's Silver Age designs, so that could be why I'm not liking them as much as I could be. This is definitely an area the filmmaker should have spent a bit more time on. Sound design is another aspect of the movie that's not outstanding. The sound effects are a bit more cartoony than Superman Doomsday, but considering the character designs, that's not really all that surprising. There wasn't any part of the score that stood out to me, although unlike in Superman Doomsday, it didn't serve to suck me in either. The voice acting was passable, even with big-name actors like Neil Patrick Harris, who I loved in Batman Under the Red Hood, another movie I'll be reviewing soon. This is probably my least favorite of the DCAU movies. I wasn't impressed by the plot, by the animation, or by the sound design. It's certainly a passable movie, but it's not a great one. I'd say if you have to decide between this movie and pretty much any other one, go the other way. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this one as much as you did my last review. A little bit of the feedback that I got back from the first review mentioned that I should probably go into deeper detail with the plot, which is kind of what I did here, and I kept the other segments a little bit shorter just because the plot segment was so long. But if you guys want me to go into even a little bit more detail as far as all of the other sections are concerned, I can absolutely do that. If there's any other movies you guys want me to review, just let me know down in the comments below. And I will see you guys next time.
Shut up!
Burn it!
Shut up!
Go
What's up?